Alright, what's up everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Darium's Competitive Pokemon. Gonna be rolling a game on Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. Playing this one with Decidueye Vileplume. Now, Decidueye Vileplume, got a place in my heart for that deck. Played that deck for a lot of last season and had some success with it. Really enjoyed it. Also, didn't have some success with it. I did very poorly at Virginia Regionals with Decidueye Vileplume, so got me a lot of points at League Cups. Didn't do me too well at Regional Championships, but I like the deck. It's enjoyable to play, and I think that it's really strong. Now, Decidueye gets a nice little buff in the form of Acerola heading into the World Championships. This is kind of what I see as maybe Decidueye's last stand, because Forest of Giant Plants is rotating. So it's not only rotating, it's getting banned from Expanded. So there will be no more turn one Decidueye shenanigans in the near future. It's just not happening. So this is Decidueye's last stand. We're going to see, what kind of viability Decidueye has heading into the World Championships. I'm trying to get some more testing games in with it. I think that the deck has a pretty good shot against Gardevoir. This is kind of the stick that I'm measuring most decks up against when I'm thinking about, what's good for the World Championships. Can it beat Gardevoir? Can it beat Volcanion? Can it beat Greninja? Can it beat Mega Ray? These are kind of my top decks. It looks like I am playing against Gardevoir, and they are playing the Sylveon GX in here. So very cool, playing against Fungus Brain. I doubt you have a Fungus for Brain if you are putting together this pretty coherent deck, but, I don't know. I can't judge. I don't know you, man. Let's see. I have Rainbow. You can see that I put Rainbow Energy in here. This is something I'm trying out. Like I said, Decidueye does get Acerola, so that's pretty cool. And I'm trying out the Rainbow Energies because you can, with Acerola, you can damage your own Decidueye and then pick it up. So that was my thought process. Also gives me an out to use Tapu Cure, which could be valuable at some point. Now I don't want to put I don't really want to put the energy on this Lele. I mean, I could get a turn one energy drive here, but is it worth it? My opponent's probably going to try and set up with Magical Rimmon. Sure. We'll just try to be aggressive here. Go in with that double colorless energy. That way, if my opponent does decide to come up with the Sylveon, I'll be able to crack it with a nice energy drive, do a decent amount of damage. So I'm going to Ultra Ball away the Vileplume and the Dartrix here. Grab an Oddish. Now, there are two ways to play Decidueye. Obviously, there's the Tapu Koko version that plays, Ninetales and doesn't play Vileplume. This is the version that, okay, here we go. So we got a Revitalizer, but I don't have too much exciting in the discard, but I'll still do it. I'll get him just to get a Dartrix on the first turn. That way, it's just going to make it easier for me to get a Decidueye in play. Fortunately, we were able to draw into our end because we got a whole handful of energy. So, there are two ways to play this deck. Like I said, there's this version, or more than two ways, but there's this version that got second place at the North American International Championships at the hand of John Kettler. And then there's the version that doesn't play Vileplume. That's the version that Igor used to finish in the top 4 of the North American International Championships. I think both versions are valid. I happen to like the Vileplume version more. I think you have more options with the Vileplume version just because you can limit your opponent's options. So it just gives you the ability to trap your opponent. It gives you the ability to shut down your opponent's strategy. I think the Vileplume gives you more to do with your deck. Whereas sometimes I'm playing with the Tapu Koko version and I just feel like I'm not, cranking out enough damage and limiting my opponent enough. They can play Hex Maniac, which is annoying. Looks like my opponent is opting for the Fairy Garden version of getting that Sylveon into the active. They're opting to play some Fairy Gardens. Pretty good idea. I've seen that considered by a few people, so that is pretty cool. That way they don't have to, retreat that energy. They have that there in the bag for later. Now, this is my problem, though, with the Sylveon GX version. If they had just had a Diancie here, they would just have a Gardevoir right now, or they'd have another Kirlia, but I am just getting ready to end this hand away. So you're going to have to just throw that all back in, dude. All right. And I have... what do I do? I could get Vileplume into play right now. That would be pretty good. But then I wouldn't have any Decidueyes out. I think I'm just going to go for it, though. I'm just going to go for it because if I give my opponent too many turns of items, they're just going to be able to take advantage of me. So I'm going to just get the Vileplume out right now. I'm going to hope that my opponent can't get the Sylveon out of the active, and we're just going to blast this thing with an energy drive and hope they don't really respond. So let's see. I do have a Float Stone on this thing, and so that means next turn I could retreat into somebody else. I could do something else. If they get a Gardevoir out and I'm scared, I can retreat. Now my opponent does have a retreat of 2. They have no Float Stone on this thing. So it's going to be hard for them to bring out Gardevoir and knock me out this turn. I'd be very surprised if they do that. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Right, because they would need at least 2 energies on their Gardevoir, and they would need to retreat this Sylveon. So I think that I have one turn where I'm safe. Now I do expect my opponent to, Magical Ribbon again, grab a couple things. I could knock it out. I put the Rainbow Energy on my Dartrix here. My opponent's options are limited though. I don't know if I want to take out this Sylveon just like that. Maybe I want to retreat and use, Hollow Hunt GX. Maybe I want to do that. I don't know. We're gonna have to see what my opponent does here to judge. Maybe they GX me. Maybe they pick up a couple things. Oh, they're coming in with the Gardevoir, and they're just gonna hit me for 150. Okay, I'm happy that my opponent did that. That makes things easier for me. I would have been, more at a loss for what to do if my opponent had kept that Sylveon in the active and gone and hunted for some Curlias and stuff. But I'm cool with this because then I could just swing into this Gardevoir, and it looks like my opponent might not have anything else going on right now because they didn't play a supporter card. I did get yes. Okay, we drew okay off of that. So we're cool here. We're going to get our Decidueye up. Going to get a Dartrix as well. I can put the Rowlet down, but I kind of want to save it in case I get a Shaman or in case I get... I think I do put the Rowlet down. I put the Rowlet down just because my opponent is getting ready to knock out this Tapu Lele. Like, that thing's going for sure. I could Sky Return and promote something else, but I don't really like that. I think I want to just take advantage of the fact that I have a whole heck of a lot of energy. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I have a lot of energy on this Tapu Lele right now, and I'm going to just try and do as much damage as I can with it. So I'm going to Feather Arrow the active, go all in with that energy drive, try to just hit my opponent for as much as I can. Next turn, though, we need to figure out what to do. I could Hollow Hunt again next turn. Now my opponent is just going to be able to sweep up this Lele, take 2 prizes, and then you can see they're not playing any supporters. They're not even attaching any energy. They don't have a whole lot going on, but neither do I at this point. I'm kind of stalled out, but that's fine. These are the moments that Decidueye Vileplume lives for, honestly, because you've locked both you and your opponent into a weird situation, and you both are just sitting here stewing in it. You need to deal with it. I could do 90 damage. If I do 90 damage, right, so then they're at 120, 210. That's good. I got the knockout, so I could do 110, right, with Feather Arrow and Razor Leaf, and they're knocked out. So we're going to go ahead with that strategy. And then if my opponent fails to respond to my Decidueye, then I'm in the clear and can just go ahead and Hollow Hunt. I can grab that Lele right back up into my hand, and I could use it to draw more cards. I could go fish out a supporter with it. So you can see here, Vileplume really just showing off how good it is. I mean, I am drawing weirdly, I'm not really playing any supporter cards, but this deck is built to be like that. I have Hollow Hunt GX. I can deal with the fact that I am drawing awkwardly, whereas a Gardevoir deck is going to have a very hard time dealing with the fact that it's drawing that awkwardly. My opponent cracks me there for a good amount of damage. I want an Acerola. That's what I want. I mean, Acerola would be fantastic right now, right? That would be insane. But we don't have that. I do have 2 feather arrows though, and can do 90 damage to my active, so that's 130. That's just enough to knock out the Tapu Lele, so we are cool. I don't need to Hollow Hunt yet. I'm just going to Feather Arrow twice and Razor Leaf. So, sorry if you guys can hear that dog barking. Kevin's dogs are barking right now, so apologize for that. You know, Kevin's got a lot of dogs here, so that'll happen from time to time. But we do get a Guzma and a Rowlet. I do like that. That way I can get the fresh Decidueye GX into the active position, and my opponent scoops it up. So you can see Vileplume really just showing off how powerful it is. Hopefully Kevin can get his dogs to calm down so we can get some more games in. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace. Take it easy.